now is Abel
Call me Abel,
Maldonado.
please.
Abel Maldonado, he wants to continue to be...
What do we call you?
Like Lieutenant Governor.
Like,
He'd like to continue being your lieutenant governor. He's up for re-election, running against Gavin Newsom, who's going to be with us a little bit later. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Glad you made it here finally.
I'm honored to be here.
Okay.
I really am.
Where are your negative ads? We have not seen them.
I'm running for California, and I must say to you that I've been a lieutenant governor for quite some time, but most importantly, I've been a family man. I've been a Californian, and hopefully after tomorrow, I'll be a lieutenant governor.
I like that you're not running any negative ads. I know that you guys always say they work, but I'm sick of them. I hate them.
Well, you know what happens? This is silly season, okay?
Yeah.
They run negative ads, and then, don't mess with California. They own offshore oil platforms. Come on!
Did you tell Meg Whitman to stop?
Actually, I did not tell her how to run her campaign.
This raises a question. California is
It's a weird state.
somewhat odd in that the lieutenant governor and governor are elected separately. It would be like having the president and vice president of the United States elected separately.
Sure.
It has happened in the past where you have a person of one party is governor and a person of another party is lieutenant governor, where there's big disagreement.
Sure.
You know your history. You know that when Jerry Brown was governor, remember that, Mike Curb was lieutenant governor, and when Jerry Brown went out of state,
Mike would change things.
constitutionally, you were allowed to change things, and he would put into executive orders, etc., things that Jerry Brown opposed. We haven't had much of that, but can you speak to that? And if, for instance, Meg Whitman is not elected and it's Jerry Brown, how would you deal with him?
Well, first of all, I'm a Californian, and whoever wins the governor's race tomorrow night, I am going to work with. It is in the interest of California to have a partnership at the top, like the partnership that I have today. I don't understand where you have a governor fighting with a lieutenant governor. That's why we look wacky in California.
Yeah.
That's why we look crazy.
That's only one of the reasons.
And that's one of the reasons. But if Jerry Brown becomes governor, he's going to have a partner in Abel Maldonado for as a lieutenant governor and a governor's race. Should they run together? Yes, I think so. But it's even been when they've been in the same party. When Gray Davis was governor, Cruz Bustamante was the lieutenant governor, and they fought all the time. Why? Because that's how they get
What was
press.
your relationship like, or what is your relationship like with Schwarzenegger?
It's been a partnership, to be very sincere. When I disagree with him, I walk into his office and I say, I disagree with you, Governor. But when we come outside, we're Californians, and that's what people want today.
For folks who don't follow this too closely, you became lieutenant governor when John Garamendi left for Congress. And Schwarzenegger named you lieutenant governor, which was interesting because in the past, you had a little bad blood with him. Obviously, you were able to work through that.
Well, we've had our disagreements, just like you have a disagreement in any partnership. And
Especially marriage.
You know what? Sometimes, but you grow out of it.
Yes.
And that's what we've done.
Learn.
We've grown through it.
But would you say you and Schwarzenegger, together or separately, however you want to look at it, has it been a successful term for California?
Well, I think since I've been a lieutenant governor, I think it has. I signed the bill that returned $3 million to the people of Bell that was embezzled and stolen from them. I signed a piece of legislation that created jobs in Oakland, California. It's been a partnership. When he was gone, I took over San Bruno. Remember, there was a pipe explosion, and we were there on the ground. It was a partnership, and that's what we need.
Well, the San Bruno, as tragic as it was a bit of a coming out party for you because then you are the acting governor. And, you'd rather it be under other circumstances. It gave you an opportunity to show what you could do in all of that. And certainly it's a political plus. But then when it's over, then lieutenant governors tend to... The truth is most people don't know anything the lieutenant governor's doing at any time.
And you're right. And you're right. And let me just briefly tell you why. Because lieutenant governors get up in the morning, most of them get up in the morning, and they say, how can I go beat up on the governor today? To get a little
How can I get my name out there?
Yeah, how do I get my name out there? And through that process, New York, who's financing our bond, says, we can't even work with California. They don't work together, number one. Number two, small family business. If we don't show them certainty at the top, then how are they going to plan for their business? And when you have 100-day late budgets, why would somebody come to California? That's why I did Proposition 14, which is the open primary. I want people to come together and be Californians and move this great state forward.
And you ticked off all your fellow Republicans because you voted for the Democratic budget. Getting that
But I hope I didn't tick off Californians, because this is California.
But wait, but that was kind of a brave thing you did.
Well, it was, you know what? I said,
Dangerous? Let's put it
I
that
said,
way.
you know what? It could be the end for me, but it won't be the end for California. And that's why I did
Because
it.
we needed a budget, and
We
you
needed a
felt...
budget, and we needed an open
And
primary.
you wanted the open primary, that's what there was a quid pro quo. Let me move on to an area where you get criticism, and that is on the environment. Specifically, AB 32, which is the green bill here. It's back on the ballot in different forms now.
It's actually not back on the ballot. AB 32 is a different bill. Now it's on the ballot to actually postpone AB 32 till unemployment gets to 5%.
Which is why I say it's back on the ballot again. You voted against it, and that's being 32 held against you. Speak to that.
Sure. I voted against AB 32 because when it came before me as a senator, it didn't have the rules in its place. It was a shell that was going to give all the authority to another agency that's unelected to the people, and they were going to come back and say, okay, we're going to fill in the blanks, and this is what's going to happen. And I said, that can't happen. But now that it's on the ballot, and it's signed into law, and it's the law of the land, I've made it very clear that if it hurts jobs, we ought to postpone it for 5 or 6 months or maybe up to a year. I think that's reasonable and I think that's pragmatic. But this notion to postpone it indefinite until unemployment gets to 5% is unacceptable.
So
And that's why I'm voting no on Proposition 20, on 23.
And pot, I don't think you're
On what?
pot.
Pot.
I don't think you're for legalizing it.
No one has
You know
been
what?
yet.
Listen to this. We can't get our budgets in order. So let's go tell people, can you smoke a little pot so we can get some more taxes so we can send it to a broken system? That doesn't fly.
But it would bring money into the state, you have to admit
And
that.
put it into a broken system in Sacramento, which they can't get their act together. So I think it's poorly
Aren't you
written.
part of that act, though?
Well, you know what? I've been a reformer, and I was the only one that went to the Citizens Commission and said, you know what, no more pay increases to politicians. I was the only one there. I was the only one that did Proposition 14. Proposition 1F. No budget, no pay, no increase. That was mine. And it was just those trying to reform government. Now, Prop 20 is important, Prop 27 is more important. Reforming government.
Before we go, I want to point out for folks who don't follow it, your parents were Braceros.
Yeah.
They came over as pickers back in the Bracero program. You're a Republican. Your stand on immigration is what?
We need an immigration reform system that allows people to come here to work on a temporary basis, and if they're good temporary workers, they can get a green card like my father did.
Well, we
And
do have that system. I came over on that. I came over on a visa and I got a green
But
card.
those days are gone. It's been more difficult. We need a system. We need a immigration reform system that allows people to come here on a temporary basis. And if you're a good temporary worker, you get a green card. And if you had a green card and you're a good green card holder, then you ought to have an
So that
opportunity to
doesn't-
apply for citizenship.
It doesn't exist anymore?
Well, it doesn't. But let me share something with you. It did in '64. Now that man across the border, his son is now lieutenant governor. It worked.
All right, thank you so much, Abel.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Abel Maldonado. Gavin Newsom will be here in the next hour. And when we come
You two
back,
run into each other much?
Not really.
do you actually run into each other? All right, we're going to talk more politics and what's happening in this election coming up right after this.